Hi, and welcome back to my video diary. I guess that's what this is, right? I mean, it's me talking about how I'm getting through this horrible time, in the hope that it might help someone else that's going through it. Or yeah, it's crazy. It's exactly a week since I had my unaliving myself attempt. Exactly 1 week ago, the police were here doing a check on me, and I lied to them saying I was fine and that I wasn't going to kill myself when I really was planning it. Thank God. I think that helped, the fact that they came, because it kind of shocked me a little bit. So thanks to LAPD and Malibu County Sheriff, 2 sets of police. Sorry, I lied. Don't come after me again. Once again, thanks for all the incredible messages of support. I am looking for a therapist. I know a lot of you have been asking about that. My main focus right now is AA and AA meetings, because AA has really worked for me in the past, twice before. So I know that works, and so I'm really diving into that with a sponsor, and I've got a really great sponsor, and so far that's going well. I want to address some comments that I'm trying not to read comments. I really try not to read comments, and I think because this is so vulnerable. When it's like a sketch or something, I never read comments. But with stuff like this, I want to check that I haven't said something really offensive, or not that I ever would, but that I haven't said something so off the mark, or something that's going to make people freak out, or something that's going to make the police turn up again. So I do check the comments, because I just do these. I don't edit them. I do them and I post them. That's the whole point of this. It's like a diary that it's good for me, because I want to be able to look back at this in a year and go, okay, this is what it was like then. But it's overwhelmingly amazing. But I've been getting a lot of comments, not a lot, a few comments of people saying, pull yourself together, get over it. Beta male is a great one. Got a few of them. And I just want to say that we're evolving as a species, and the old ideas of masculinity are not the same as the new ideas of masculinity. It's changing. And the old masculinity model was responsible for an incredible amount of men committing suicide. Pull your socks up. Don't talk about it. Get on with it. I'm just thinking about the negative comments, and I get in your head. You get one load of positive comments, and then one negative comment will just stick. Go get a job in construction and stop whining. I wouldn't be any good at construction. Not. Look at me. But yeah, that old idea of masculinity. When I was in treatment last time, they had all of us guys put a list on the wall. On this side of the wall, we wrote all the things that were masculine, what you're taught as a boy, as what being a man is. And it was like, provide, don't cry, be a man, be tough. All those kind of things were on the wall this side. So there was a big wall of just paper with these things written on. And then he said, on this side, go and put all the things that you're taught to recover from drug addiction. And they were, be open, be vulnerable, let people in, share your feelings, go to a meeting. Opposites of what was on this side. So all the stuff that men are taught as a kid is opposite from being, basically sets you up to be a drug addict. If you've got that propensity, if you're teaching a boy, be tough, don't let anyone in, don't show your vulnerability, you are literally setting them up for a life of hardship, a life of mental illness. Seriously. And so the woman that specifically said that to me a little while ago, I noticed that people were saying, you've got boys, I just worry about her boys. Like, what are they going to grow? I mean, I guess in the 70s in England when I brought up, that's what it was. You know, boys didn't cry, boys didn't tell their feelings. You know, it was all about stiff upper lip and get on with it, provide for your family, and which I am obviously doing, and I'm in favour of that, and that's what I'm always going to do. But it was just interesting how it was the opposite. For a healthy mind, was all the opposites from what you tell a little boy in the classic masculine model. So I just want to point that out. Sharing your emotions and being vulnerable doesn't make you less of a man. In fact, some people think it makes you more of a man. And, you know, we're evolving. The whole human race is evolving. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about that for a minute. I had the most incredible day I've ever had with Alfie yesterday. I have never felt so connected to that boy. It was absolutely crazy. I mean, I don't know what it is. I don't know. I don't want to say that it's because we've separated, but I don't know. I'm certainly more present when I'm there. I think I was taking the whole family thing for granted when we were all together, and now I really treated it as a treat. So I'm super present with him, and it's amazing. It's just amazing, and Poppy's always great. But for the first time yesterday, I was driving along. I mean, I had an amazing day with Alfie, and I was driving back, and I looked out the window, and there was a tree. And I looked at the tree, and I thought, that's beautiful, that tree. And then I snapped back into thinking about everything else. But for a second, I wasn't thinking about anything else. And I looked at the tree, and I thought, that's a beautiful tree. Isn't that beautiful? That is what I know as serenity. That feeling that happens so rarely. And every time I got sober 3 times, and I'm treating this as getting sober even though I didn't use, because I'm not emotionally sober and from what I did. But in the first weeks of getting sober, every time, I had these little glimpses of this feeling of what I now know as serenity. And they were like a second or a minute, and then 2 minutes, after a few months, 3 minutes. And it just got bigger and bigger as I got more sober. But yesterday, that feeling of me looking at that tree and saying, that's a beautiful tree, that was a seed that I recognize and I remember. And I said out loud, I remember you. I remember that feeling. That means recovery's coming in. Just a small, tiny bit of recovery. Tiny. But I remembered that feeling, and it made me feel really good, because only for a second I felt serenity. And I had a great day with Alfie, and we were all getting on as a family. And then I was like, oh, I've lost my family. But for a second, and I got a feeling that it's going to grow, because I had that before. The first time I ever had that little fleeting glimpse of serenity was after I first got sober in Primrose Hill in London. And I walked over the hill, and there's a view of London at the top of the hill. And I was like, that's a beautiful view. And then I snapped back into everything else. But then I was like, whoa, what was that? Why did you... There was a second there where you weren't thinking anything negative. That's what it is. It's like not feeling anything negative, which for me is never. Except when I'm healthy and in recovery. So I got a tiny glimpse of that yesterday. So that's the first bit of good news for 7 straight days. Well, no, longer. I've been depressed for months. That was the first. Of course, Alfie that was a big deal. That was a big deal. There was every reason for me to feel happy. But this little glimpse of Serenity it was something else. It's almost like there's no need to worry. That's kind of what it is. So I'm going to a meeting tonight with some people I've met in recovery. They're going to give me a cake for 8 years sober, and I feel like a fraud because you get a cake for 8 years sober and then you've got to talk about how you did it, and I'm just going to tell the truth. And I'm worried that there's newcomers in the room that are going to think that it isn't going to work, but I'm going to say, I'm going to make sure to say the reason that it happened is because I wasn't doing the program. But yeah, I keep holding on to that seed of light. I keep holding on to it. Even when I'm really down, I just think about it. That seed, that moment. I want more of that, and I hope and think it's going to grow. So yeah, that's the end of the first week. Thank you for coming on this journey with me. I love you guys, and let's speak soon.